So, well, as you already know, over the last decades, European countries have been experiencing an increase in the average age at entering parenthood. Among other reasons, one of them is that people tend to wait until they find the perfect conditions to have children. For example, they tend to wait until they find the perfect partner to have children with. However, because of the age-related fecundity decline, especially among women, these prerequisites may be approached with more flexibility when reaching certain ages. So we expect to find that older women may approach these requirements with more flexibility, potentially having children in shorter or less stable relationships. This fact should be reflected in the three following situations. So first of all, that older women may be more likely to enter motherhood shortly after starting a union. Second, that older women may be more likely to end a relationship shortly after entering motherhood because they had not previously tested the relationship enough. Or that older women may be more likely to have a child without a partner. To analyze this, we are using the EU-SILC database, which includes information about the household composition of the households and also the relationship between its members. So, and this is longitudinal, so it follows households for 4 observations. So what we do is we look at how the situation in the first observation is connected to the changes that we observe in the household composition during the subsequent observations. We pull different countries and time periods to increase the sample size, but that also allows to observe variations across time and space. So basically what we look at is first, among single childless women in the first observation who enter into a residential union in the following observations, we observe their probability to have a child in the short period of time of the observation period. Second, among childless women having a child in a co-residential union in the first observations, we look at the probability of ending that co-residential union later. And third, among childless women who were single in the first observations, we look at the probability of having a child outside of a co-residential union. So, just because this is a flash talk, I'm going to only present some results of this first situation, and more specifically, I'm going to show the evolution over time. So these graphs depict the predicted probabilities of having a child during the observation period among those women who were single in the first observation, but then entered into a co-residential union. And each of the graphs represent a different time period, with the one on the right hand being the most recent period. And we can see here some changes across ages and also over time. However, we need to consider that because of the fecundity decline, the right side of the graph of the curve will always be negative. So we are using a benchmark to control for this fact. In this case, the benchmark is the probability of having a child among childless women in the full sample. And I want you to draw your attention to the last graph, the most recent one. And we can see here, just briefly, to not extend too much, how the decline that we observe in the above graph at ages 35, 39 is not is lighter than the one that we observe in the benchmark, meaning that these women who are entering a relationship are more likely to have a child during the observation period than childless women in general. So just to conclude and also to present you some of the results of the other parts, we observe an increased likelihood of older women entering motherhood after initiating co-residential unions over time, and this phenomenon is more prevalent as fertility has been postponed. We also observe that single older women entering a co-residential union are more likely to transition to motherhood during the observation period in those countries with late fertility patterns. And although we do not find a clear trend indicating that older women are more likely to experience union dissolutions after entering motherhood, we find that older women are more likely to experience single motherhood. That was all. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward for your feedback.
Thank you.